Alright, I'm Stepdad here. I'm actually going to be teaching you how to use the hemorrhage control compressed bandage, which also in Army terms we usually just call it an Israeli bandage. It comes in a package like this when you get your first aid kit, and if you forget how to use it, it's got the instructions on the back. And never open it up until you're going to use it. This one's an old one, so that's why I'm using it. I've got a lot of older equipment to use, so just tear it open. Sometimes it's a little difficult, especially if you're trying to rush. And just double package. I'll admit, I hate double packaging on stuff. Sometimes you can't. If you have to, use your teeth to make a little notch to get the tip so you can tear it. Alright. And there's a label right here. It says other side towards wound. But you'll unwrap it. It's very long and elastic. But when it says other side of the wound, you want to put this side towards the wound. This will help add the pressure. So what you do is you place it on the wound, and now it's hard to do it one-handed, but you take the strap. Okay, you'll take the strap. Now actually I should probably mention how to do this. It's not mainly meant for wounds deep bleeding wounds that bleed quite a bit. It's not like unless it's an artery or a major blood vessel in the arms or the legs that are hit. That if you just use this, the person would still bleed out. This is to stop like the other less severe ones than that. But what you do is, alright, where was I? Okay, sorry, someone bugs me. But it goes on the wound. You gotta keep it always constantly go the same way. But you wrap it around, and you take it. Before I actually you'll slide it in here, both sides, so it's like this when it's in there. So it's like that, and then you go back the other way. Now it's easier to show on my arm, so I'm gonna slide it on. Okay, and you gotta make sure it stays over the wound, and then you pull it tight, and you continue around. You cover up the ends, like you cover up the white. You'll be covering up the white areas. So it's always the opposite. So you cover. And this one was designed funny. Yeah, this looks. It's been a while, but yeah, you gotta keep it in there. See how easy that was with a slide. More than likely, when you have blood, it's gonna sit there and actually really pull, and then around. You use the excess bandage to cover up the sides like this. But it's not very tight, but you got to make it as tight as you can. And usually if you're doing it on yourself, it's hard to get it tight. So put down here on my arm, squeeze it tight, as tight as possible. I'm not going to squeeze it to the point where I'm disconnecting my blood flow. But then you wrap around the edges of the bandage so you have no white showing. You keep wrapping it and keep going over the actual main part to keep adding that pressure. And you got a lot of it. And what you got is this end little piece of plastic here. You find one of your ends where one end is, and this clip it in there. And that'll hold it till someone needs it. I mean, this is crude. I don't have a production company to actually make everything. look nice and spiffy like a lot of the other people. I'm just a one-man team, but see, now you've actually got that pretty tight on there. It's got pressure. I mean, you can I do have some slight discoloration of the hand. I mean, I do have some blood flow cut off somewhere. I'm not gonna leave it on much longer, but yeah, you'll get a tingling in your hand. Don't let that happen. And then ladies designed, it's a pain to get them off. But I'll get it off as quick as. But don't try. Do not try this on yourself, because it does. Don't try it unless you actually have an emergency. Because if you tighten it too much and you leave it on there for too long, you're gonna lose feeling in your hand, your arms. Okay, so I'm gonna get it off, wrapping it back up. So you can actually, if you can untie it, like lift it up here to see how it's doing. You want to keep an eye on it. Make sure it's not, if it's a, make sure, see if it's bleeding through or not, because if it's bleeding through, you're gonna have to use another one. And if you don't have another one, you can actually pack some. If you got some gauze or clean cloth, you can put that into the wound to make sure you've got enough to cover everything. All right, got a little hot there. To cover everything and make sure it is, you've at least slowed the bleeding. And what you want to do is stop the bleeding in all cases, but it's hard to do. And that is it for this. I'm just making a short video. I'm going to show you how to use a tourniquet, and also eventually show you how to make how to stop a sucking chest wound. So I'll put it. I have experience with. I don't have. I shouldn't say I should have like actual experience actually giving someone a second chest wound. The most experience I'll admit I have is from all the all the times the Army has trained me to be a combat lifesaver, which through my whole career, I went through the full course, roughly 6 or 7 times. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to certain items. I even in my personal first aid kit that I have, I actually have some of the stuff that actually the CLS training does. This is actually one of the things the Army uses. They use the tourniquet. The last time I knew, they used the what was called a nasal pharyngeal airway, which we just call it nose hose. It's to help with breathing. I got another knife I'm gonna be testing out, and but that's probably gonna wait till spring because it's been in the negatives here lately. So I will see you next time.